Hey guys, it's Taylor back with Life with Taylor, and today we're going to be reading Reddit. So let's get into it. Okay, today we are reading Scary Encounter. Alright, first one. One of my scary days. Hi, my name is Sean, and I have a scary story from the past that I've been too scared to talk about. It's like a parallel universe or ghost, maybe, what people talk about now, Matrix glitch thing. I don't know. But this is when I was 6 years old. I was in Tennessee living with both of my parents. I was in first grade. So I was at home someday in 2008. I was upstairs in the apartment where we lived. It was a school night, and we were all talking, all of my sister, my dad, and my mom. So I was on my way to get something to drink. I told my dad while I was going downstairs, having a long conversation till I got to the bottom of the stairs and see my dad sitting in the recliner watching TV, but the TV was off. I froze for a bit. He looked at me and asked, "What am I doing downstairs?" I said, "I'm thirsty, just want water." So he replied, "You need to sleep. It's a school night. I will whip you, boy, to test my patience. Go to bed." After he said that, I got scared. My dad never says stuff like that. So why now? I asked myself as I ran upstairs, and my dad was up there in the bedroom talking to my mom and my sisters about a story of his brother. I have a pic of him now forever, keep, and he was getting sad while talking about the music he listened to, like the Beastie Boys. I looked at my dad and asked, how did he get downstairs and upstairs very fast without me knowing, when I never left the steps in any form for him to move? And he replied, "Sean, you must have some imagination. I was here the whole time." I got startled a bit and ran back downstairs and don't see my dad again. And ran to my dad telling him, "I saw you downstairs. You spoke, you got mad. I got scared. You stood up right before I ran. What do you mean you wasn't there?" He replied, "Son, I don't know what you're talking about, but you must have crazy imagination. Your 7 Lord knows what you can see in that smart head of yours." I replied, "If it's true, why did it seem so real?" He placed his hand on my heart and felt my heart was going really fast. Faster than how much I ran. He asked if I was okay and I didn't answer and went to bed, thinking about it the next day. It happened again during the day in the morning, and I was getting ready to go to school, and my dad went to the bathroom upstairs. We had 2 bathrooms at the time, but he just woke me up, didn't want to wait till he was downstairs. I went downstairs to get some cereal, and my dad was there again, sitting down in the chair looking at me and said, "Sean, you're in trouble. Why did you do it, Bubba?" My dad calls me Bubby, so why Bubba? It's weird. Never been called this before, but he stood up while I was thinking about it and looked at me for about a minute or two. Then I ran upstairs, and my dad came out of the bathroom and said, "What's wrong? You look like you've seen a ghost." As he laughed like the Joker he always been, I told him, "I saw you downstairs. Why is this happening?" He replied, "Bubby, you might be seeing things. Go ahead, get to the car. I'll drive you to school." I told people and been told it may be my uncle, but they don't look the same. I look a lot like my uncle than my dad, my mom tells me, and I don't know. It was a scary experience for me in 2008. I was only 7 years old. I hope someone can explain it. If y'all like my story, I got more experiences in my past that's scary or even brave. I don't like talking about this stuff, but I'm willing to admit what happened to me for years. Okay. So this person was 13. Okay, when they wrote this. Well, I think it could be doppelganger or a fictitious story that this person wrote. Yeah, I don't know. I think we should move on because I'm not really quite sure what type of language I was speaking there. Doppelganger husband or something else. Okay, so I know this isn't the most horrifying, but it scared the living daylights out of me. For context, my master bedroom is upstairs and connected to the master bathroom, and the bathroom also has a door to the hallway. My son was already asleep and my husband was in bed. I had been washing my face, important because I did have my eyes closed for a minute. As I was washing my face, I heard my husband call my name and say, "Come down here." I had just wiped my face and started heading downstairs when I noticed all the lights were off. Weird. I took a few steps down the stairs and said, "What's up, babe?" And my husband replied sleepily from the bedroom. What? I had never ran back upstairs so fast in my life. He had been asleep and never heard a thing. I swear what I heard was my husband's voice. I have no idea what this could have been, but it definitely freaked me out. He could have been like sleep talking and maybe it echoed. Somebody said, "My guess is your husband was probably sleep talking." I'd like to think that too, that my brain fooled me, but I swear it came from downstairs. Maybe my husband is a secret ventriloquist. Somebody else said, man, it's mundane shit like this that is crazy though. Same thing happened with my boyfriend and I, plus my old roomie. Roomie and I were in the dining room. It had curtains blocking the doorways, and he was on his way here, on his way there. We heard his voice from outside the curtains call us, sort of from down the hair, but he was still like an hour away, and when we checked, there was nobody there. My theory is maybe it's an alternate dimension versions of our lives playing out alongside us, and sometimes that veil gets a little thin in places. Like the Stranger Thing. Yeah, creepy. I think for this scenario, I don't know. If this is the only experience, I would probably say like he was probably sleepwalking. But yeah, our mind can play weird tricks on us sometimes, make us hear things that aren't there, or I don't know. What do you think? Comment down below what you think. All right, next, this is just titled Reflections. Creepy. I have a terrible fear of reflective surfaces. A lot of people think it's a psychological thing. Like maybe I don't like them because I have low self-esteem or something. And I let them think that because it's far easier than explaining the real reason I dislike seeing my reflection, which I'm about to share with you now. When I was about 15, my mother and I moved back into my childhood home, a place I'd always got eerie vibes from, if I'm honest. Being a very open-minded kid and having had my fair share of creepy or supernatural encounters, I understood that there was something fundamentally wrong with the place. Maybe it was the property, maybe it was a crappy little town, or maybe it was the house itself. I couldn't say, but it felt thoroughly unwelcoming throughout the time we lived there. One night, after my mother had gone to bed, my best friend and I stayed up late, scaring ourselves with ghost stories and talking about the supernatural, etc. At the time, I had a large vanity or dresser mirror in my closet. The closet was the kind that was supposed to have rolling doors, but it had no doors at all at the time. And I was laying on my bed, maybe 3 or 4 feet away from the mirror. There's a break in the conversation, and I have an odd feeling that tells me to look at the closet. I turn and look, and I immediately make eye contact with myself in the mirror. Only what was looking back at me was a demonic version of myself. My reflection slowly grinned back at me in the most threatening way I could imagine. Its eyes, sclera and all, were tar black. Its teeth were pointed. It terrified me, and I couldn't look away for a long time because I was too stunned. I was intently focused on making sense of what I was looking at, desperately trying to grasp for an explanation that my startled mind could accept. Of course, there was never an explanation, and to this day I avoid reflections, because I think if I ever saw that again, my mind would simply and irreparably shatter. Interesting. Yeah, I don't really like reflective surfaces either. If I start looking at myself for too long, my face looks weird. So let's just get rid of mirrors, please. Yeah, somebody said, my boyfriend thinks I'm crazy for this, but this post made me feel a lot better and not alone. We stayed in an Airbnb in a different city for a concert we went to, and in the bedroom we were sleeping, it was a mirror right in front of the bed, 2 feet away from the foot of it hanging on the wall. I never have mirrors, 1 in front of our bed at home, or 2 uncovered at night. So I covered this mirror with a sheet and called it a night. He made fun of me because it was so much better to be safe than sorry. I feel much more relaxed when my mirror's covered at night. Yeah. I have like a small oval mirror that's like on my dresser, but it's like pointed down, so you literally can't see anything. And then I have this large like jewelry box mirror, and it's pointing towards my desk, which is creepy if I'm filming there. Sounds like a demon or something. I also have a fear of mirrors. Yeah, mirrors are not fun. Mirrors are creepy, and if you stare into the mirror for so long, it's like, I think it may be like a brain thing. Like we start seeing things or like contorting our faces in different ways, because I think that's like a paranormal thing, but I don't know what it's called. Okay, the tree. This is a story about something that happened in my childhood that has haunted me ever since. I'm on a mobile, so sorry for the formatting. When I was a kid, like 4 or 5 years old, I was staying with my grandparents in the house I live in now. I'm 25 now, and I was playing with a couple of friends I had in the neighborhood. We were in an elderly neighbor's backyard playing, and she was watching us for the day. She had a pretty decent-sized backyard, and in the yard was a huge tree. This tree is still there, by the way. Well, it was fall, and all the leaves had fallen off, and there was this big branch that barely attached and hanging down into the yard. We decided it would be fun to try and pull off the branch. So the 3 of us all grabbed onto this branch and started to pull. It breaks off clean and easy. However, just as we break it off, this pale hand shoots out of the branches and grabs the branch, pulling it back up to the tree, lifting all 3 of us off the ground. We really were the only children in the neighborhood, and there were not any teenagers at the time, just elderly and families with young children. The other 2 girls I was with let go of the branch, fall to the ground, and start running towards the front yard. I'm scared to the point I'm frozen in place and just staring up at this disembodied arm holding onto the branch. The hand suddenly lets go of the branch, and I fall to the ground and continue to stare up at this tree and this arm. As I'm staring into this tree, a face comes into the bare tree. It was a white face, like sheet paper white. Whatever it was, it had no nose, and these really intense, scary, blood-red eyes, and an ear-to-ear creepy smile of just white teeth, like an utterly wide smile. It gave a deep, scary laugh and reached for me again. At this point, my little 5-year-old fight or flight response finally kicks in, and I book it back to my grandparents' house next door. They had just gotten back from running errands, and I couldn't even tell them what was wrong. Those eyes and that face have haunted me ever since. I am now currently living in my grandparents' house, as my grandfather is ill. I am next door to that very tree every day, and it still gives off that scary and creepy feeling. I was taking my dog out just the other night, and he stops and stares at the tree as it is visible from my backyard, and the air just shifts, and he suddenly starts running back towards the front yard, and it feels like something was chasing after us. I really thought something was coming after us. So now I am terrified of going into my backyard at night. I just wish I could find those girls again to see if they remember the same incident. I was gonna say, yeah, see if you could find them, but also they'd probably be like, what? That's just made up. We didn't see that. Either this is a really good written story or this is creepy. Somebody said, so it was a tree, person, demon living in the tree. It must still live there, right? As far as I can tell, yes. I still get off feelings from the tree, and I want to talk to the neighbors and see if they felt anything off with the tree, but they are not the nicest or sociable people. You should go back and try to burn the tree down. If I could do it without getting arrested for arson, I would, but the family living in the house might not like it much. Yeah, probably don't burn it down, but maybe keep your distance from it. That is creepy. So it's either like a story or that is like actual nightmare fuel. Or maybe you're contorting something or imagining something. I don't know. All right, let's move on to the last one. First time I had sleep paralysis. Okay, this happened around 4 years ago. I was sick, so I had to take cold and flu nighttime medication, and I was having nightmares all night until I woke up, so I couldn't move, and I looked around my room and saw something in the corner of my room, and it looked up slowly, walked over to my bed. It had pale white eyes and blood teeth. It climbed onto my bed and grabbed my face and said it in a scratchy voice, "I'm here to help you, trust me." Then it started to climb onto my lungs and I couldn't breathe. It stood there for a solid 2 minutes and then said, "I'm never going to leave you." Then laughed like a maniac as it slowly dissolved into my body. Then I felt something make me jump, push me out of bed, and then I could move. I have never told my parents, and only one other person knows about this. P.S. This is the only time I've ever had sleep paralysis. I hope to never have sleep paralysis. I don't want to see that shit. Okay, I believe in the paranormal. I don't need any more evidence. Okay. There's only one comment and it's really long. I don't feel like reading it though, because it's literally like a whole nother story. I'll just skim it. I've had a sleep paralysis a total 4 times, and now starting 3 years ago. I did not wish it on my worst enemy. There's a bunch of examples of things that has happened. The reason I mention this is because from all the research I've done, this is a type of mechanism, almost a switch that flips in our brains when we fall asleep. It essentially paralyzes the body so we don't get up and move around to hurt ourselves while dreaming. I learned about that. That is, I think it's in one of the stages of REM. So it's in the REM stage. Stage 4. I don't know. I don't really trust Google. Let me see if I can find my notes. But it basically, our brain there's these like nerves that paralyze our legs and our arms to ensure that we do not hurt ourselves when we're dreaming. I don't know. Not that versed on sleep, but our bodies kind of like paralyze so that we don't move around, and that helps us get a better, deeper sleep because then we're not moving around and we're just sitting still relaxing. So yeah, I don't want any sleep paralysis. Thank you very much. Don't know where that comes from, but return it. Keep it at that store, okay? I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Comment down below your thoughts on these paranormal stories. Are they doppelgangers? Are they just things that our brains are seeing? Do you like mirrors? While you're down there commenting, click all the buttons. You know what to do. And I hope you guys have a good day, night, evening, morning, wherever you are in the world viewing this. And peace.